thank you so much for organizing this event. And when you came to Freedom events, I didn't even remember that I had said that.
Oh, you were so inspirational and you didn't even know it.
Yeah. Because I always, my own goal for even doing Imprisoned show at all is to educate, because I know that it's really important to create awareness, and education is a tool we can use to do that. So now you have this great event with about 100 plus or 200 plus people out there today. So apart from Bukola telling you, what informed the idea of human trafficking awareness generally?
I don't know. I think for me, like, the word freedom has always just almost bring tears to my eyes. Like, it's just in me that people need to be free. And I went to Haiti a couple of years ago, and there's a huge problem there with slavery and trafficking and working in salt mines, and it's just too much. I feel like I am free and I can do this. And I grew up in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I saw some crazy stuff there. And so now I live in this sweet little town up in northern Minnesota, and I act like it's all Mayberry and whatnot, and I have these 4 daughters. I have nothing but girls, and I just want to protect them and keep them safe, but there is no really safe place on the planet. There really isn't. There's darkness everywhere. And I don't know, it's my time on earth. I have to do what I can do constantly. But as far as the community, we got a lot of responses. People would say, that's not happening, that's not real. Like, there's all these people who don't believe, and then there's all these people who are just sad. And so you want these people who are sad or angry to want to act.
Okay, so the people who don't believe, what do you think can be done to make them realize that this is really happening?
This kind of thing. Okay. Just getting it out there. We had the newspaper up here. Our local newspaper ran a story. Actually, ever since we returned from the Proclaim Freedom conference, she ran different stories each week on human trafficking in its various forms. And so that alone hit a nice population.
Yes. And you were even able to bring a victim out here who is still healing. How do you think that has helped?
Well, it brings it home. I mean, it makes it real. There's one thing to think about people out here, and there's another to look somebody in the eye and see their tears and hear their story.
And do you plan to keep doing this? Is this going to be like a monthly event or a yearly event, or how do you hope to make this grow bigger, to get everybody involved, including those who don't even believe right now?
Yeah, we definitely don't want it just to be a one-day thing, and all of us who have worked together to organize it are excited to see what comes out of it. And really, this event, we're hoping will pull people from our community who will approach us. I already had one lady approach me 10 minutes ago and said, I want to volunteer. What can I do? And so that's just a matter of us all getting together, brainstorming afterward, and saying, where do we go from here?
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to see you.
Parenting.
Parenting, yes.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Oh, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me. This is really good.
This is really good.
Yes.
This is.
What brought you to work among women on an issue which is like an issue that affects women mostly, and men are seen in quote as the predators?
It is I don't even know. I mean, the sheer impact of it, when we look out at all of society and our social standing, men have a duty and a responsibility to protect and to love and to support and to encourage and to care for and to lift up their daughters and their wives. And within our culture and our society, it has been stripped away. It's been taken from us. We've been convinced and we've been brainwashed that it's not our call and it's not our duty. We've been convinced that we are to live our lives for ourselves, that our spouses and our kids are there to make us look good and to feel good about ourselves. And it's a lie. You know, we as men are caregivers. I mean, we are responsible. We are providers. We are protectors, and our hearts have been hardened immensely. And so I look out, and where nobody is doing it, there's a need.
Yes.
You know, and I can't ignore the fact that there's pain, and I can't see my children walking out into a world where they believe that the world revolves around them and it's all about them. When the fact is as people, as humans, we are put on this earth to support and encourage and build each other up, not to destroy and tear each other down, not to trample on each other so that we can achieve our own goals and our personal dreams and desires. So within that, there's a lack, there's a need. And so to be able to stand up and say that no, not all men are predators, not all men are evil. No, that there are true, honest, God-fearing men that love their brothers and sisters out there. That it's an honor and a privilege for me. You know, it's not a weight, it's not a burden. It's a privilege. Yeah.
So, what are you doing as an individual person working with this group to keep sensitizing the men's community about this? Have you tried to connect with any other men organization?
I myself am a union member. I'm a member of Local 647, Heavy Construction. And within that group of men is a very hard group of men. We're callous, we're cold, we work long hours on the road away from family.
Is it because of your kind of job?
That's the work. And so I travel in and amongst that. And so, like within this event, I brought it to my local. And so my local supported this event, and they donated to the cause of it because they heard the statistics as we brought it to the meeting. And they realized that within the industrial community, within the construction industry, there is a lot of delving into prostitution, delving into callous treatment of women and young girls. It's alive in our industry. And so just from our viewpoint, we want to say that this isn't a part of what we do. Not all construction workers abuse women. Some of us do stand up for it. And so they stood up and said, we'll take a stand on this. We'll say this isn't what we want for our kids. And so within that, there's a group of men that are impacted by this. And my business agent is here, and he's going to bring this information back to. So we have a group of men that will be influenced by it, and hopefully have their hearts changed to how they look at sex on the side, hooking up with girls in the bars. That, yeah. So that's my hope there.
Okay, thank you so much. And what would you like to say to any victim that is out there? You can look in the camera.
I love you. I really, really, really do. My king loves you. And there's healing in his arms and in his embrace. And not all men want to use you.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Thank you. You're even emotional. Thanks. Is your plan about this kind of event? What informed the idea of hosting this event?
Well, about a year ago, we all read a book, Renting Lazy, and we just decided, this is just, it's crazy, it's just disgusting. And so then life happened, and a year went by, and we just kind of fell into a slump and didn't really know what to do. And then we went to the conference down in the cities, which you were at, and we just felt like, you know what, we can't leave here and do nothing. And so we got in the car and we talked about it, and we just boom, 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 we just hit it, and we just said we have to do this before the end of April, no questions asked, it's happening. And so we just did it. And ultimately we all have daughters, we all have sons, we just want everybody to just take the information and go with it and just keep their eyes open. And even if just one person did something big, but even just seeing what's going on and stopping it and calling and just not turning your back on people.
Yes.
And so from this conference, we kind of want to do more of them.
Good.
And we want to like get into schools and kind of lay it there for kids, you know, kind of make it maybe a curriculum that they can, because that's where they need it. I mean,
Yes.
they, even if they can keep their eyes open, you know, and be touched by it.
Yes. I
Um,
encourage the parents to ask their PTOs. So, do you plan to even like reach out to schools PTOs
Yes.
to start doing this?
So
in
get
schools?
go to like the superintendent and go to the meetings and just say, this is what we want to do. We need to get in there, and even if it's in a sex education class, you know, give us just one day, an hour, you know, just to hit them at that young age of look out, look, this is what to look for, and just, you know, maybe somebody that you do will go to a counselor and say
Yes.
something, or will say something they see, or I need help, and even, you know, bigger.
Yes.
I don't know how far down the road, doing recovery, opening up a safe house, that type of stuff. But
Okay. Good.
we all have such young children that that might be down the road, but
Yes.
or maybe it might be tomorrow. I don't know. Whatever God says to do is kind of what we're doing. So
So, today, how many organizations are here?
there are 5 different organizations that are here speaking and having booths. And we're hoping there were supposed to be more than that, but you know, there's so many schedule conflicts and that
Yes.
type of thing. And
Yes.
we had such a deadline that we wanted it to happen now, just so it wouldn't turn into summer. And
Yes.
so yeah, there's 5 altogether. So.
Okay. And there are only 5 organizations that have booths, or more?
Well, 5, I shouldn't say that. 5 that are not local. There's 4 local booths and 5
Okay.
that are bigger
Oh.
organizations from out of town.
Oh,
So-
okay. So up together like 9 organizations.
Yep. Yep.
And do you know how many people you've had today so far? There are
I
like hundreds.
think there's about 120 to 150 here.
Good.
So we hit quite a bit. And the men, I mean, there is got to be 50 men here, which has been
Good.
huge.
Yes.
So,
yes.
because
yes.
that's, I mean,
The men are tagged as the predators, even though a predator could be a woman and a predator could be another child
yes.
who is being used
Yes.
by an older person. So, what message do you have for the public out there to watch out for? That traffickers don't necessarily have to be in this stereotype group.
Yes. So I think, I mean, it's everywhere, but the bottom line to me, I guess, is that the demand side of the issue is men that, for the most part, you know, that are buying these children of whether, you know, whatever, or any type of trafficking for that matter. But I think that as parents, we all need to step up and we need to know where our children are and what they're doing and keeping an eye on them, and not just our children, but other children. Have you seen What Would You Do on 2020? There's a show.
I've
Okay.
seen it, yes.
So they had a session on there where there was a little boy. They did it with a little boy and they did it with a little girl. And they were in a very busy, I don't know if it was New York or what, but they had a man and he was grabbing him and he was pulling him and the little kid was screaming, help, help, you're not my dad, let me go, help. And he just kept dragging him across the street and nobody would stop to help them. No, everybody just turned away. And you know, that the kid is screaming for help and nobody, you know, that's the biggest thing, is just keep your, if you see something that is, you just have this feeling like that's just wrong, step in. If you
Yes.
feel like you can't step in, call the police, call the trafficking hotline,
Yes.
do something, don't just turn away, because ultimately that could be your child in the end. So that's kind of my feeling on it. That
Tell us about yourself, your organization, and why you are involved with human trafficking and advocacy.
Yeah, I'm Stephanie Page, and the organization is Stories Cafe. And Stories Cafe is twofold. First, it's going to be a place where you can go and buy fair trade coffee and good food and feel loved and just be in the community. But then the proceeds will go to organizations that are fighting human trafficking both locally and around the world. So it's like a two-part vision.
Okay.
We also have a heart to help with the restoration side too, in training people and rewriting resumes so that they can go out after they've been rescued and restored and live their lives.
Do you have plans for those who don't need resumes, but they want to
Mhm.
still go back and integrate,
Mhm.
especially for people who have records.
Yeah, we would love to work with local organizations and that are already doing the work. So, for example, where a city is building a shelter or already has a shelter, to work with them and give them a place to work and to be.
So, do you have specific organizations that you started working with right now, locally or abroad?
Yeah, we've worked with Fierce Freedom. We've worked with
Yes.
United One Front. We worked with Hope and Rescue. Overseas, we've worked with Saksam, which they're out of Cambodia.
Okay.
So yeah, we've had connections with all those, and I'm always looking for more because our heart is to have Stories Cafe be a hub for the community, so that people in the community can learn about the organizations locally, internationally, so we can connect the two, so that we can all be a part of it. I think people in the community, they want to do something, but they don't know how or what, and so to be able to connect them with the organizations who are so busy doing what they've been called to do, they don't know how to get, to make that connection. So that Stories Cafe could be a place of community where we can come together and make a difference. So.
Good. I'm going to ask about today. So today you are a speaker at this event. So what is your topic about for those who couldn't make it here today?
I'm doing 2 different talks. My first one is to teenagers and just really talking about how our identity and who we are isn't found in what we wear, how we look, how smart we are, how athletic we are, how rich we are, how successful we are, how educated we are. None of those things they don't really matter. It's really about who we've been created to be and whose we are, and that we're Christ, and that He gave His life to rescue us from slavery to sin, and so then when we live free in that, we have to go share that freedom with others, and then to challenge teenagers to be aware of what's happening in their schools and with their friends, and to know what trafficking looks like, and to know how vulnerable girls are sought out and preyed upon, so that they can step in and they can love people well and see the signs of trafficking and start to work on prevention. I think prevention starts in our high schools and junior highs and on the sports teams and in the neighborhood. And so just that tangible way, both for teenagers and adults, to make a difference.
So learning to know how among their friends, because sometimes their friend could be used to recruit them.
Yes.
So, for example, if a friend is trying to recruit another friend, and the friend identifies that this is human trafficking, what can she do, or what can he do?
Well, first she needs to tell an adult, and then get to call the human trafficking hotline and get help. But first, tell an adult, tell a safe adult. And so that's the other part of my talk when I talk to adults, is that we need to be safe adults. We need to be safe places where teenagers can come and kids can come. We need to have our eyes open to what's going on around us. We need to know what human trafficking is, know what our world is like, not put our blinders on, so that we can actually love these people well and start to prevent human trafficking from happening.
Okay. Thank you
Yeah,
so much. So,
thank you.
do you have a word for victims who are still out there?
Oh, you're loved. You're loved. You're valued. You're precious. And we want to know you and love you and help you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So fun. I like it.
Good. Beth Akin, this program you put together today with a group of friends, what informed the idea? What informed the idea of putting this together today?
We went to a Proclaim Empowerment conference in the cities in January, where Stephanie Page was the keynote speaker, and our eyes were open. We were surprised. She had drawn together how God rescued us out of our spiritual brothels, and these victims and people needed help for us to rescue them out of their spiritual brothels, or God to do the same thing for them physically.
So, how long did it take you guys to put this together?
Well, it's funny. We got together and just thought on the way home we've got to do something, and had to check it with our hubbies first. And once we got that okay, we set up our first meeting. And in that week, or 2 week time, it was 2 weeks, some people had caught wind of it, and we believe that God had a part in that. And 2 more couples came on, so we had 5 couples, and just had a meeting and decided to go from there. It was probably, we thought maybe this year, but thinking if we needed to do it next year, we would. And then we found out Renee might be moving, and we wanted her here for it, so we thought, okay, let's do it in April. And when we made the date, we realized also after that April was Sexual Abuse Awareness Month. So that was confirmation of the date and the month.
Oh, nice. So today the group, it's comprised of different people. So where are those people from?
The Grand Rapids area. And one of them I didn't know, but Renee knew, and a couple, somebody else knew. But we sort of all heard about each other in the community, and just got together.
Excuse me. So, putting this together, is this going to continue every year or every month or every so many months?
We'll see. And if so, we are all willing to do whatever it takes to help get the word out, to help end any of this trafficking in any way, shape, or form. To realize that statistics for this area is alarming, and most people in this area don't know, and so that would be our goal. But if God has other plans, we'll do that as well. Maybe this was to empower people here, and He has something more or less for us. I don't know.
Okay. And then in your group, you have men who have also joined to help. So,
Yes.
Is this helping you to really reach out to the main group because they have been tagged the predators?
Right. I think it was important for the men to be, we prayed about it, we discussed it for several weeks. And even in the car on the way home from that first conference, we thought, do we want to do it exactly the way Stephanie had it for women, for spiritually, or do we want to do it as a healing time, an awareness time, and for men and teens and for everybody? And we got the confirmation it was everybody. And if the men are the one who are doing this, you know, in the bad way, we've got to show the good way, or the good men, and the ones that have the heart to change it. And that's why when those other 2 couples came on, both men, the husbands, were emphatic about helping, more so even almost than the wives, because they knew that it was the demand that was contributing to this.
So, even though men attack the predators, would you say that women are also involved in trafficking as the traffickers?
Yes, from what I've heard and seen just in the last 4 months of learning, yes. But the majority would be men.
Okay, so we should be looking at everybody as a suspect, not just one group.
Yes, and I'm so still learning, but that's what I'm learning, is everybody is a suspect.
Okay, so the speakers you have today, what specific messages do they have for the crowds that showed up?
I think mostly this is what's going on, and this is what you can do, and you need to open your eyes or it's going to somehow affect you, and to act now.
Wow.
To
Okay.
give them the skills and the keys and the resources to go on from that, not just say, look what's happening in your area, but this is happening and we need you to be educated and to continue.
Okay, and then I was going to ask about the police chief that got arrested recently.
In Robbinsdale?
Yes, he's a Robbinsdale former police chief, but he was actually arrested in Coon Rapids.
Okay.
Yes,
Oh.
so what would you like to say in that regard, especially when someone that we look up to as the protector is the predator?
Just another example of how we need to get out there and make people aware, train our police forces, our authorities, and remember that everybody is a suspect and no one is past being that. It's pretty disappointing, but we can't go there because it's disappointing that anybody is doing it. And I don't want to hold a policeman in higher esteem than anybody else. We're all humans.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So what do you want to say now to victims?
Boy, you're
You can
brave.
look in the camera.
You inspire me. You are brave. There is freedom. Tell your story. And thank you for being who you are, and you are valued and special. I wish I knew more, but I'm so thankful that most of you or some of you are willing to share and come forward.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right.
Are you crying?
Just having Craner up there before was just